today's video, we're going to talk about the first cartoon appearance of that world-famous wall-crawling superhero, the amazing, the spectacular Spider-Woman. So, alright, let's go.
Yeah. So, we start off in current-day Egypt, where a giant pink pyramid has erected out of the sands of Egypt. That is quite bizarre. And while it doesn't create a devastating earthquake like you think it might, it does create a devastating sandstorm. Luckily, Spider-Man is there to save anyone from being blown around in this crazy storm. Spider-Man in Cairo? What the heck is he doing there? That's pretty convenient. And even more convenient is that Spider-Man finds a secret entrance to get into this newly erected pyramid. Jeez, hey, that's twice lucky. But his luck, it runs out. He is quickly attacked by Eddie, you know, the mascot for the heavy metal band Iron Maiden. Or to other people, it's just a giant mummy. But either way, sadly, Spider-Man is losing the fight. Meanwhile, at the King Cool Tut exhibit in the United States, Jessica and her photographer friend, her photographer friend Jeff, oh, that's actually kind of a tongue twister for me. Well, anyway, they are reporting on the exhibit for Justice Magazine, when suddenly Jessica's clairvoyant spider sense starts clairvoyanting at a very wide distance. At the same time, the mummy at the exhibit comes to life and starts to attack her and Jeff. But quickly, Jessica transforms into Spider-Woman to defeat this mummy and to rescue Jeff, who fell out the window from sheer fear. What a guy! Although she did hesitate quite a bit before she decided to actually save him from falling to his death. So are they as good friends as we are led to believe? Later, at the offices of Justice Magazine, Jessica contacts Police Chief Cooper and Detective Miller about what the hee-haw is happening with all of these mummies. Turns out, mummies all over the world have come to life, and they're all making a slow march towards the brand new pyramid. It sounds like a whole heck of them are not gonna actually make it there, you know, if they have to cross the ocean or something. So this threat doesn't really sound all that bad. But it gets worse, because we learned that Spider-Man has been captured and defeated in Cairo. So Jessica and Jeff, you know, hop in the Justice Copter and take a looky-loo across the pond, along with their stowaway, Jessica's nephew, Billy. And they're flying in a helicopter across the Atlantic Ocean without having to refuel, hey? What kind of helicopter are they flying? Airwolf? Anywho, so they make it to Cairo, where one of the remaining locals tells them to get the hell out of here. There's nothing good with that new pyramid. It's evils, I tells ya. So Jessica makes a lame excuse so she can run away and change into Spider-Woman. But from Jeff's point of view, his friend just ran off in a doomed, deserted city with a whole horde of undead mummies on the way. Like, maybe she shouldn't be by herself at this point, right? Nobody should be by themselves at this point. Heck, even Spider-Man got his ass handed to him, you know? But Jeff just shrugs it off. Man, like, I'm really starting to question their friendship. Meanwhile, inside of the new pyramid, so Spider-Man is captured and he is talking to the main mummy man, who is telling him about himself. He is King Cool Tut, and he is an alien. He and his other mummies have a whole bunch of pyramid spaceships buried underneath the sands, and they came here thousands of years ago to conquer the planet Earth. And now, as we speak, more alien pyramid ships are on the way from their home planet, Hotep. So how did these guys fail in the first place? You know, if they built like an ancient Egyptian civilization around them, like how did all of these pyramids sink under the sand? Why didn't they conquer the Earth back then? I don't know, man. Are these guys just incompetent? Well, I hope so, because their current new plan is to turn the entire population of humans into living, brain-dead mummies, just to make the world conquest transition that much more smoother. And so, as if on cue, everyone else breaks into this new pyramid. through the apparently not-so-secret secret passage. Jeff and Billy are easily trapped and are caught and captured, while Spider-Woman sneaks in to try to save all of the boys, but gets caught in a wall-crushing trap herself. If Luke, Leia, and Han can find such a way out of a predicament like that, I'm sure Spider-Woman could as well. And you know how she does it? She uses her spider telepathy to command the sand spiders to chew through the sandstone wall, making it weaker so she can break through it. Like, for real? She can talk to spiders? Well, I guess Aquaman can talk to fish, you know, so crazier things could happen. But now that she is free, she goes to save her friends. But the Earth Conquest plan has been put into action. A whole lot of pyramid ships have flown out of the sand and are on their way elsewhere. To which, for some reason, everyone knows that they're all heading towards London, England. So sadly, not much luck for jolly old England, as the mummification and brainwashing plan has begun. Not just the Londoners, but to Spider-Man as well. So Jeff flies the endless supply of fuel Justice Copper to London from Egypt in like no time whatsoever, which seems to defy all of the helicopterology that I've known about up to this point. But nonetheless, it happened. Jessica needs to save Spider-Man, so in order to get away from Jeff and Billy to change into her uniform, she just jumps out of the helicopter, which on one hand, she can change into her super persona without anyone knowing it's her, but on the other hand, Jeff and Billy believe she jumped out of the helicopter to her certain death! Like, oh my god! Billy is gonna be traumatized for the rest of his life! Oh, the poor kid! But Jessica has to go save Spidey. And now that she did get him away from the mummify blast, the spider duo goes to the Egyptology Center in Geneva to help Spidey and to figure out how to save the Londoners. But how do they get to Switzerland so fast? Do they have a transporter from the Enterprise? Well, either way, the Genevan Egyptologists give Jessica an idea on how to destroy the mummy pyramids. Therefore, back in London, Spider-Woman enacts her plan. She gets Cool Tut to chase her down in his pyramid so that Spider-Man can make a web cube around the pyramid ship. Cool Tut knows that he's completely licked, as they found out his one weakness, cubes. So they all take off back home, which indubitably unmummifies all of the Londoners. So the day is saved, hooray! But just one quick question, what the hell just happened? A cube? A spider cube on one ship? What? How does that actually work? Man, oh man, how much damage could a dodecahedron do, hey? Huh. Also, Jeff and Billy are completely depressed because they believe Jessica is dead. But happily, she shows up unscathed with a really weak excuse of how she survived. But this would probably still give Billy years of therapy, so hooray, I guess. And with that, that is the end of this Spider Tale.
So yes indeed, eh? Like that was actually a pretty decent cartoon. One thing I do love about this little channel that I have here on the interwebs is that I get to watch a bunch of cartoons that I've never watched before. Or at least it gives me a pretty good excuse to do so. So for this Spider-Woman series, it was not in syndication where I was, so I never actually got to see it. But I do tell you, after watching this, the inner child inside of me was actually pretty happy with this cartoon. So I think if I did watch it as a kid, I totally would have been into this series. Much like how I used to watch a whole lot of He-Man episodes, and with that, I would watch a whole lot of She-Ra episodes as well. And man, oh man, did I watch a lot of Spider-Man cartoons, you know, so this was definitely in my wheelhouse. But speaking of Spider-Man, you know, it was pretty awesome to see him in this premiere episode. He's not a main character in the series, he just made a quick guest appearance to give this show a proper send-off. Which is kind of like what Captain Jean-Luc Picard did with Commander Sisko for Deep Space Nine's premiere episode, Emissary. Sorry for the nerd voice, you know, but it's true. Pre-existing characters giving the new characters, you know, the old thumbs up and all that, you know, it's pretty good, you know. a sign of respect. Even though they gave Spider-Man yellow eyes for his costume in this one, it's pretty much the same, but just, completely different. But I guess his eyes do match Spider-Woman's eyes, for her costume, so it works out somehow. But speaking of familiarity, the story. Ancient aliens trapped in pyramids wanting to attack the planet Earth. Like, where have I seen that before? Oh yeah, it was an episode of Super Friends when they introduced El Dorado. Same thing with ancient mummies and pyramid ships. Except that was Aztec mummies and not Egyptian mummies, but still pretty much the same story. So even though it's a pretty cool story, and I'm sure it's been done a lot more than just, Spider-Woman and Super Friends episodes, the one thing that makes this one stand apart is how they defeated the mummy ships. They never actually explained it. They just made a cube around a pyramid and the guy freaked out and took off. I don't get it! I'm no mathematician, so I really don't know how a cube defeats a triangle. So if anyone out there watching knows, why that is, please let me know. So, like I say, it's a pretty awesome episode. If you haven't seen it before, like that was kind of like me, then I suggest you do it because much like me, you will enjoy it. But other than that, we do have some more behind-the-scenes kind of things with Spider-Woman, her creation, her other kind of parts of her story and stuff like that going down over here.
So yes, indeed, hey, Spider-Woman. So how did this fantastic new character come to be? Well, in 2 words, copyright necessity. So comic book companies have been copying characters from other comic book companies to kind of ride on the coattails of that character's success and popularity since the beginning of comic books. For example, Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, from Fawcett Comics was a little too similar to Superman from DC Comics. Aquaman from DC Comics is a little too similar to Namor from Timely Comics, aka Marvel. Sometimes these copycat characters work out pretty good, sometimes the company gets sued for copyright infringement, but still, the practice persists. So in 1967, there was a legendary cartoon series called Spider-Man. Heck, Spider-Man himself was one of the most popular comic book characters ever. So you had to believe that the copycats were on the prowl. And indeed, they were. And this time, it came in the form of animation. The good people at Filmation really noticed how much of a success the Spider-Man cartoon is/was, and how much of a success Spider-Man character is. So they wanted to get some of that spider gravy. So with that, they started to work on a new cartoon series called Spider-Woman. Similar, but different because this time the character is a woman. This new character would have similar origins to Spider-Man, similar power sets and all that kind of stuff, but the people at Marvel Comics found out about this and they were horrified. They didn't want someone else sleeping in their spider bed, so they hastily started to create a Spider-Woman character for their comic books. When Filmation found out that Marvel Comics found out what was going on, they decided to change their show. Seeing as they've already done a bunch of work on it, they decided to keep going with it, but they would change the character quite a bit, and eventually released their show as Web Woman, which debuted in 1978. For a quick little side note, the character She-Hulk was created in a similar fashion. Marvel Comics was worried that Universal Television would create a female Hulk TV series, seeing as Universal has been making the Incredible Hulk series. But now, back to Spider-Woman. So with all of that quick work by Marvel, boom! Spider-Woman first debuted in Marvel Spotlight number 32 in 1977. And her origin story goes like this. Her real name is Jessica Drew, and while her father and the High Evolutionary were working on some stuff in Transia, she became very sick because of uranium exposure. And to save her life, her father gave her an experimental serum based on irradiated spider's blood, making her Spider-Woman. With that, she does have a very similar power set to that of Spider-Man, even though she got her spider blood from a different way. So she does have regular spider powers like superhuman strength, super fast reflexes, spidey sense, she can crawl on walls and ceilings and whatnot. So that in of itself is pretty cool, but you still want the character to be unique and separate from the other characters. So she does have some different powers. She does have pheromone manipulation. She has bioelectric energy projection, which she refers to as a venom blast. And with her suit, and with those flaps, she can kind of glide along the wind. Not exactly fly, but glide, I guess, like a flying squirrel, because flying's pretty cool. Swinging around a city, on your webs is cool too, but flying? You can't beat that. She also does have some non-spider powers, like she is an expert spy, and she is highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Skills that she acquired while she was originally recruited by Hydra before defecting. So, all in all, pretty gnarly. Although I should point out that she is technically the second Spider-Woman. So, in Spidey Super Stories number 11 in 1975, we did see the character Valerie, who is from the educational show The Electric Company, and she found one of Spider-Man's uniforms. So with that, she tried to become a superhero calling herself Spider-Woman. So, I guess technically Marvel already owned that name then, in a sense anyway. But Spidey Super Stories is not canon to the regular Marvel universe. It is its own separate little universe, which was created to help kids read better and read more. But still, Valerie Spider-Woman exists, even though it was only this one story. But now, back to Jessica. So with that success coupled with Spider-Man's success on the television, of course this new character is gonna get her own show. To which this featured cartoon, Spider-Woman, debuted in 1979. And is actually pretty awesome, seeing as this is the first Marvel character's female superhero to have her own show. History is made! The funny thing is, seeing as this character is brand new and has a really cool, fantastic, powers and all that stuff, of course they would change a lot of things about her, for the new show, which seems pretty silly, but, that's how it goes. The change is starting off with her origin, which isn't really that different, but in the cartoon, when she was young, she was bitten by a poisonous spider and was given an untested anti-spider venom serum by her father, which gave her spider powers. So yeah, pretty similar, but still different. Her power sets have also changed. In the cartoon, she no longer has spider strength, which I don't understand why they would take that away. That's just part of being a spider hero. Her spider sense has changed as well. It's not just sensing danger. In the cartoon, it's now clairvoyant spider sense. She can actually see the danger like she's watching a movie, even if the danger is like continents away. In the cartoon, she can now also completely fly. Not glide, flat out fly. Her comic book counterpart would actually have this change where she did get the ability to fly and not glide. So, art imitating art, I guess. And some other random things in the cartoon as well, like she can talk to spiders telepathically, but still, she's talking to spiders. She can now also shoot spider-like web lines from her hand or her fingers, kind of in a natural way, not so much like a web shooter like Spider-Man has. And the cool thing now is how she changes into her Spider-Woman costume, which I do believe is a homage to the Linda Carter version of Wonder Woman, where both characters are wearing their civilian clothes, they spin around for a little bit, and then boop, they're in their superhero persona. A lot of other stuff that was added for this cartoon was everything surrounding Spider-Woman, especially her alter ego, Jessica Drew. So now she is working at Justice Magazine, where she hangs out with her photographer friend Jeff and her nephew Billy. I think that is more so to kind of have a bit more familiarity to Spider-Man and, Peter Parker's kind of setup working at the Daily Bugle. The fact that Jeff is a photographer, kind of like Peter Parker is, and doesn't look that much dissimilar to Peter Parker as well. Beyond that, you do have Jessica's contacts at the city police department with Chief Cooper and Detective Miller, where these two characters are kind of similar, familiar to J. Jonah Jameson and his editor, Robbie Robertson. Jameson and Cooper are both pretty passionate, impatient characters who want stuff to get done, whereas Miller and Robinson are more of the level-headed characters who don't allow their bosses to kind of get out of control. Also, the Spider-Woman comic books are a little, well, I guess you could say darker. They do have a bunch of stories on the occult, on older legends like King Arthur, and stuff like that, whereas this cartoon series is a lot more happy-go-lucky. A lot more. So where we're up to at this point, that's pretty much the basics on the character, the differences between the comic book and the cartoon, how she came to be, and all of that fun jazz there. But this is a pretty cool character, because she does open the door for a lot more female spider-based superheroes. So, like I say, cool to see this character and what she's done and what she is continuing to do with all of these newer characters as well. So, hooray! But yes, with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess, that's that. Also, if you're interested, I created my own comic book channel, 215 Comics. And currently, I have created my own cartoon series, The Adventures of the Density. And recently started a radio series featuring my newest character, Elastomorph, with more titles to come. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link up top here to that channel and some links at the end of the video. Yay! Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so. Or anything else, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.